win some, you lose some. Dan Graziano back with us, and recently wrote an article on ESPN.com, the best and worst free agent signings of 2017. We're going to go through these, but we'll start glass half full. The 5 players who made an impact on their team immediately, and we'll count our way down, Dan. So number 5, we look at the top free agents.
Number 5, Wendy, was Robert Woods, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. They got him for 5 years and $34 million out of Buffalo. They guaranteed him $10 million, and he looks like a bargain based on the way he performed over the second half of the season as the deep threat in that Rams offense with Jared Goff throwing him the ball.
He was considered a number 2 wide receiver in Buffalo. They thought that was his ceiling. In effect, that's what the contract looked like. He's more than that. He went home to Los Angeles. That's where he was born and raised and played in college. And he had a tremendous year in Sean McVay's offense. And he's going to be, I think, a 1 in this offense for quite some time.
Has to feel good to go back where you came from and then have success, especially when it wasn't predicted to be the case. Number 4, Dan.
Number 4 is another Rams signing. Left tackle Andrew Whitworth, the veteran. They had to guarantee him a couple of $1 million in 2018 to get him out of Cincinnati and away from some other teams that were after him. But the Rams were extremely happy with the way he helped solidify that offensive line in front of Goff and Todd Gurley, a veteran presence, a leader, and someone who has absolutely been providing tremendous return on the investment for the Rams. Signed him for 3 years, $33.75 million, including 15 guaranteed.
Well, when you look at the Rams in years past, one of the areas that we've always talked about with the Rams has been the offensive line. Now you bring over Andrew Whitworth, who's, like you said, is a leader up front. There's no, it's not a coincidence that you've seen Todd Gurley, Jared Goff have career years because you have an anchor on the left side of the line. Jared Goff now has that protection where he can actually focus on downfield and not worrying about the rush getting to him.
Well, when you have 2 of the top free agent signings of the offseason, things tend to go pretty well, and they did for the Los Angeles Rams. Number 3.
All 3 remaining guys on the list are still playing, and that's part of why they're on the list. Alshon Jeffrey did not get the big free agent deal he was hoping for. He took a 1-year, $9.5 million deal with the Eagles, had some incentives on top of that, kind of a bet on yourself situation. And he performed at such a high level, the Eagles signed him in December to a 4-year extension. Ended up with 9 touchdown catches. Not eye-popping numbers because nobody in that Eagles offense really had them. They spread the ball around so much, but definitely stayed healthy and was the number 1 receiver for Carson Wentz and eventually Nick Foles in that Eagles offense.
Alshon Jeffrey is a downfield speed power forward. He's a rebounder. He wins 50-50 balls a lot, and Carson Wentz developed chemistry with him. He was Carson Wentz's go-to guy down the field, and a great pickup by the Eagles because his skill set fit, and their offense is such that they use him properly. Whether or not Nick Foles has that same chemistry with him, we'll see this coming week.
So given what you said about Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey's skill set, no surprise for you, Bill, that worked out well.
No, not at all.
All right, number 2.
Number 2 is Calais Campbell, defensive lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They paid a premium price for him. This was a 4-year, $60 million top-of-the-market deal. They had to outbid the Broncos, who made a late push for him as his hometown team. But 4 sacks in the first game where they kind of announced themselves as this defense that was going to be reckoned with in Jacksonville. Ended up with 14.5 sacks for the year, tied for 2nd in the league. Of that $60 million, 30 was guaranteed, so they're on the hook for another 15 next year. But based on the way he's played, they have no regrets.
Well, listen, he's a big reason why they call it Saxonville, because
exactly.
they get after the quarterback. And listen, Bill, you've talked about this before, as it relates to Aaron Donald. When you have interior pass rushers, they are at a premium, and it's going to be paramount this week going against Tom Brady. That's what every team clamors for, is a guy like Calais Campbell who can push the pocket in the middle and create pressure, in the middle where a lot of these quarterbacks like to be hunkered down.
All right, I'm not going to steal anyone's thunder, but if this isn't a certain quarterback, I don't really know. I don't know why we have a list.
You know what every team really clamors for? A 1-year, $2 million contract for a quarterback that can get you to the conference championship game. This is incredible, right? Case Keenum signs to be the 3rd stringer in case Teddy Bridgewater isn't ready and something happens to Sam Bradford, both of which happened, but then Keenum never gave the job back, and he's still flinging it for him, obviously, in big games. 1 year, $2 million. I have to believe his next contract will be significantly
The steal of the century.
larger.
That's for sure. By the way, Pat Shurmur, Frank Reich, coordinators who are still playing, Alshon Jeffrey, Case Keenum, give some credit there. These guys found a way to fit them into their offense. Case Keenum has played lights out. He's a winning quarterback in the National Football League, and he's going to hit the jackpot.
All right, how about this? Case Keenum, the 40th highest paid quarterback in the league this season. For reference, he made the same amount as Ryan Mallett and Mark Sanchez.
That's gonna change.
And that is going to
Long
change. And
past
he's in the
that
Final
company.
Four.